I'm not about to sit up here and deal with trying to cover up the camera when I'm off duty. None of that. I'm not doing none of that, and I don't feel like you should either. Hi guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. So in the last video, I started this thing where I called a company and I asked a bunch of questions that I felt were important, and it was pretty much just a way to give people a little insight on what I would ask for anybody who's looking for a company to drive trucks in. A lot of you responded well to that. A lot of you responded fairly well to that video, and so I am doing it again. A lot of you chose a lot of different companies for me to call. Of the listings of companies to call, I definitely saw Snyder as being one of the more asked, so I decided to call Snyder, as you can already tell by the title of this video. Just a disclaimer, just like I said in the last video, I am not asking every single question that needs to be asked. This is more so just giving you an insight into what I would ask, and more so I am encouraging you to figure out what questions you will want asked so that you can get in contact with these companies and ask them for yourself. But with that being said, if you have not already seen my previous video from 2 weeks ago, I reviewed K&B Transportation. I'll link it down in the description box below so that you can check them out. Now that all of that is out the way, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna try to call them right now. So I literally Googled Snyder's recruiting number because I really just want to get in touch with the specific recruiting department. And today is Saturday, which I know that last time it was Sunday. A lot of you guys said that, oh, it's a weekend, it's Sunday, not many people are in office, and that was a big thing. This time around, I'm calling on Saturday, still a weekend, but at the same time, it's like somebody should be able to answer. I understand it may still be an issue, but we shall see. It's a different company. There's a bunch of variances in this, so let's just check it out, see what's going on.
Thank you for calling. Your call may be monitored or recorded for quality training purposes. All representatives are assisting others at this time. Your call is important to us. Please hold, and your call will be answered in the order it was received. Thank you for calling Schneider Driver Recruiting. My name is. How can I help you today?
Hi, good afternoon. I was just calling because I had a few questions about Snyder. I was just trying to get a couple questions answered. Did you have time for that today?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have an application with us, do you know?
No, I just wanted to see a couple things first before I went forward. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, and what is your zip code? All right, sounds good. All right, and then, what were some of your questions?
Yeah, well, firstly, if you could just give me just a brief rundown, if you could, about Snyder, just to give me a little more intel on what you guys are about, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So, we're obviously a truck driving company.
Mm-hmm.
We offer positions for people with experience with their CDL, people who just got their CDL. We also offer training programs to get your CDL. We have positions usually that can run anywhere between, sometimes it can be home every day. Sometimes, we can have you out as long as a month at a time. It's, kind of up to the driver and what's, available in their area. Do you have any, questions about any of that?
Yeah, that was actually a lot of flexibility. I haven't heard too much of that in a lot of companies. That's pretty cool. But yeah, one question that I have is so you said there's no experience needed. If you wanted to come in entry level, you could?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. Do you guys hire felons by chance? I'm not a felon, but I just wanted to know.
Yeah, so we are, considered felon friendly, and we do look at everything on a case by case basis.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not just any felon, it's just, it depends, just in case?
Yeah, it's something that we always take a look at. Once we have the application, we can kind of look into that further.
Okay, cool. And do you guys have manual and automatic trucks, or just?
So we have 99% automatic at this time.
Okay. Okay, cool. Do you guys offer team driving at all?
Yep, we do offer team driving. Sometimes we ask you to have a team member in mind. Sometimes we can match that team member.
Okay. Okay, cool. And it was my understanding that you guys had reefer, flatbed, and dry van. That's correct, right?
Yep, that's correct. As well as tanker and intermodal.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. Do you know how many terminals you guys have?
Yeah, that, I'm not sure of. I do know that we're spread out pretty far.
Okay. Okay, is
So,
it
yeah,
like in a specific like coast, or is it just all around the United States?
Yeah, we have some terminals, kind of spread out everywhere. It can, truly be anywhere.
Oh, okay, cool. So that means you guys hire from typically almost all of the states, or is there certain states you don't hire from? Do you know?
Yeah, usually, because we do, our hiring off zip codes, and usually we have positions associated with just about anywhere.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. Do you know how many miles per hour the trucks cap off at, by chance?
Yeah, at 65.
65, and that's before or after the cruise control? Do you know?
I just know that that's what our governor said.
Okay. And then, do you guys do training for entry-level truck drivers? You said something.
Yeah, so, if you have your Class A CDL and you come to one of our positions, we have, a training and orientation system set up that would, kind of make sure you go everything and make sure you're fully ready to be out on the road.
Oh, okay. Do you get paid for that training, and how long is it?
Yeah, so it depends on the position. Usually it's going to be around 19 days. And generally, you'll be paid around, $80 per day. That can change with some variables, but usually it's going to start at that.
Okay. And by chance, do you guys have any disciplinary measures? Like, for instance, if you do something drastically wrong, you guys will put an in-cab camera in there or something like that? Like,
so we always have forward-facing cameras with no audio.
Okay. Never inside the cab camera, though, right?
Yeah, we don't look inside the cab.
Okay. And what items do you guys transport primarily? Or is it anything?
It could really be just about anything, because we have dedicated runs that work with different, companies, as well as, like with our tanker division, that's going to be, liquid chemicals and things like that.
Okay. And do you guys allow for pets and passengers by chance?
Yeah, so with passengers, after a certain amount of safe driving, that is something that we can look into. I know it's usually it's going to be about 18 years and up for normal passengers, and then immediate family members would be 10 years and up after, I believe it's like 6 months of safe driving experience.
Oh, cool. Do you guys have GPS already installed in like the truck, or is it something we have to purchase on our own?
Yeah, I believe we give you a tablet for that.
Okay, and it does have GPS on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. You know if it's like PeopleNet or Qualcomm by chance?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are you aware of if the tablet is issued by PeopleNet or Qualcomm by chance?
Yeah, that I'm not sure of.
Okay, that's cool. So what is the starting pay?
So that'll depend on the position. If you go to SchneiderJobs.com, it'll have you an average earnings section on each position.
Okay.
And that'll be, a good estimate, because we do take those from drivers in that position.
Okay, and what was it called? What is it?
SchneiderJobs.com.
SchneiderJobs.com, and in there you can do an estimate just based on your info. Okay, do you guys do raises fairly often, or how does
it definitely depends on the position, but there's always going to be, opportunities for raises.
Okay. Is there like a specified thing, or is it just like based on a specific driver? Like, some companies do like every 6 months or yearly.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a specified thing, because it really does just depend on the position.
Okay. And then, do you guys have a sign-on bonus going on right now?
Yeah, that also, kind of depends on the position, and that would also be listed on the website.
Okay. And then, what benefits do you offer?
So we have full medical, dental, and vision, as well as 401k matching.
Okay, cool. And you guys do regional, over the road. You said every day you could come home, depending on the location, like local, right? Didn't you say that?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes, sometimes they're offered in positions, and sometimes, they're not. So it kind of just depends.
Right. It depends on like your location, or
exactly.
Okay, cool. And lastly, do you guys have any, I don't know if you would know this, but Like for instance, sometimes some companies, they will charge you a fee if you transfer from one truck to another in order to have it detailed. Do you guys do any fees like that, or like lumper fees that are charged to us?
Yeah, that I'm not sure. That I'm not exactly sure if we do or don't.
Okay then. Well, you know what, I really appreciate you answering all these questions. I know it's a bunch of questions. But I'm definitely going to look further into it. I'm going to go to snyderjobs.com and everything, and if all things clear out, I'll more than likely be calling you guys. So
yeah, and then while you're on there, if you see anything you like, feel free to put an application, and then we can go from there. Okay.
All right, thank you so much. What was your name again? Nick? All right, thank you so much. You have a good rest of your day.
All right, thank you. You too.
Thanks. All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, so we went ahead and asked every single question that I had on my list. One thing I will say off rip is they answered fairly fast. Like, I didn't have to cut this video up in the beginning to wait. They answered very quick, and again, like I said, it's Saturday, so on the weekend, that says a lot. I did look up their recruiting number though, whereas I'm sure if I called just a regular department, they would have been able to transfer me to recruiting. But just to see that they were able to answer the phone, I believe it's it's literally almost 3 o'clock, and he answered and he had enough time. He didn't put me on hold. I don't know if it would have been different if it was Sunday, if that would have changed, but it's still the weekend. That's impressive. Also, one thing I will say is he did not seem to have an attitude at all. He definitely took on every question that I had, and he wasn't afraid to say whether or not he knew the answer or not. He also provided a resource, snyderjobs.com. So if you guys are interested in Snyder, check out snyderjobs.com and put in your info and see whether or not you would be paid the amount that you would want to be paid or not. I'm sure it depends on like if you're entry level or if you have experience, where you're coming from, because certain states, they have higher pay because they have higher expenses, like California for instance, places like that. Just check it out if you have time and see what you would be paid. He did not specify if they had raises or not, which to me pretty much says they don't, because that's normally their driving force when recruiting. They'll say like, oh, and you get raises 1 cent every year, things like that. In comparison to our first company, I will say off the rip that I am way more pleased with Snyder just based off everything that they've answered. Like for instance, I wasn't taken aback by the fact that they didn't have pets or would not allow pets. They definitely have terminals in almost every area, so even if it's not in every state, he did not specify a specific coast like East Coast only, things like that. To me, that's a great sign, just because I don't want to have to worry about needing to be somewhere or anything like that, or just the unavailability of certain things that may or may not occur, stuff like that. You just want to be able to say, okay, well, at least I'm right next to this terminal. He did say that they have GPS in the tablet, but I'm unsure if that's 100% true. It sounds like he knows what he's talking about, but again, he is not a truck driver. He is recruiting, and there were some questions he did not know the answer to. So if you work at Snyder, let us know in the comments below, do you guys truly have GPS in your tablet or whatever, and is it PeopleNet, Qualcomm, or whatever device it is? Tell us what that's about, just tell us the truth, because I know some companies do not have GPS, and that's not a big deal. You can always purchase your own, and I would still encourage, even if they have a GPS, to have your own. But it's always cool to have 2 GPSs or 3 or da 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 da. I know when I first started with Warner, they had a GPS in their Qualcomm, so it was already downloaded, and then I had my additional GPS, and then I also had my phone as a third backup. It's definitely beneficial to have at least 2 GPS systems. So they have intermodal, they have tanker, I believe he said, reefer, flatbed, drive-in. They have a lot of variety. That was also a huge thumbs up in my opinion, because you can generally, even if you feel discontent with certain spaces or certain accounts, you can switch to a certain account without having to quit the job altogether. And that to me is a very nice quality to have in a company. I told you guys in my last position as a local driver that I did not like a certain account. I switched and then I liked it much better. So that's very important in my eyes. They have practically anything, as well as they have regional, local, over the road. They also offer team driving, which the last company, K&B, did not offer that. So all of that was cool. Then he said for team drivers, if you wanted a passenger, I believe he said 18 or older, for someone who is not related to you, and then your immediate family, they would only need to be 10 years or older, I believe, or something like that. And I think he said it was like after 6 months of being with them without having any accidents or any issues like that. They also transport almost anything, which definitely broadens your opportunity to have more loads. Generally, when they specify a certain type of item, like for instance car parts or food, sometimes to me it seems like they could possibly end up in a shortage of loads because it's one specified thing. They're not always going to have as many demands for this specified thing. Like that's very like subjective, but still, like when you're a company that transports tissue, groceries, dog items, all types of things, you tend to have a surplus of loads continuously, and it's never really a shortage. So that to me is also a great sign. What I expected and what he said was that they do cap off at 65 miles per hour. He did not specify if it was before or after cruise control, but I could assume that if they told him 65, that is even with cruise control. So that's general though, so that's not like a huge thing. But again, like I said, Warner coming in at entry level, I was able to cap out at 68 miles per hour, which was still the fastest I've ever driven in a company truck. And then one other thing he said was that, which is typical, he said that they're about 99% automatic trucks, but they still have the option of manual. So if you're someone who really prefers automatic, cool for you. If you prefer manual, you may or may not have the opportunity, but they still have some on the lot. So, and then lastly, they do hire felons. So if you're a felon, as long as you can pass the background check of whatever it is that made you a felon, you may be able to work here. And then also another thing, they definitely said no in-cab cameras, which is cool. I am literally not for a company that does in-cab cameras at all. That to me feels like an invasion of your privacy. He also made sure to include that they don't have a microphone in here. That's cool too. I need to probably start asking that for these companies from here on out, just because they won't always tell you unless they don't have it, because they know it's a deterrent. And I'm not for any company, like I said, that will put an in-cab camera, even if it's disciplinary. So they may not start off with it, but if you do something that they aren't cool with, they'll put it in later. No, I'm not here for any of that. That's you live in this truck even after work. I'm not about to sit up here and deal with trying to cover up the camera when I'm off duty. None of that. I'm not doing none of that, and I don't feel like you should either, unless you're totally comfortable with that. But it's like a no-go for me. So any company in the future that ends up saying yes to that, I'm immediately putting like a red X over this company, like period. So with that being said, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this company. Tell me in the comments if you have worked here before, if you plan to work here, if you currently work here. Give me all the tea, give me all the info. Let us all know down in the comments below, and tell me if there are any questions that you would prefer for me to ask in the next video. And also, again, let me know in the comments, what company should I call next? I love you all so much, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Bye.